Now in this today's short clip, I'll just let you know some points why we should not focus on the native speakers, especially if we want to learn our English communication skill living in this country. You know why we should not follow a native speaker? There are some points I'm going to tell you. Number one, a native speaker was born and brought up in a different situation, okay? And the situation which we are missing here in this country. Suppose you have zero knowledge of English. So can you follow a native speakers to learn the ABCs? For example, you don't know even the tense. So is it possible for you to learn this language from a native speakers? No, this is not possible. Okay, but a person who learned this language as a second language, living in this country and going through the same situation as you are just going through right now, only he can show you how it feels to be walking on the way which he already crossed before. Okay, so the people who are going through the same situation like me, I am Durlabh Sarkar from West Bengal, Siliguri, and I was born in this Bengali environment, and I just came up from a government schools where my first language was Bengali, okay? But still I developed my English communication skill depending on the situation and the environment which I created myself. Definitely I followed some international expertise, but right from our country, I didn't visit them, okay? And even directly I didn't interact with them before. But now, thanks to the digital technology, that we can interact with a lot of international expertise on the video conferences online. So we are very thankful that we can directly interact with the native speakers and we can develop the ideas just like the same way. Okay, so you people go for the non-native speakers. If you really want to improve your English communication skill, don't go for the native speakers because they don't know your situation, your problem and your troubles. You got it? So if you want to be a good speaker, just follow that person and tell him and say goodbye to the native speakers, because if you are following the native speakers and buying the courses from him, directly or indirectly, our country's GDP will go down because we are draining our country's resources. When you're paying money to the foreign investors, so our money is going outside. So if you really want to import money to our country, so you have to sell your skill to the native speakers. Don't buy anything from the native speakers, okay? So contribute to the development of the country's economic and stay within the country, just like Chinese. You know, Chinese people, they don't want to buy services. They always want to sell their services to the other country and people. That's why the China is so developed, okay? So stay within the country, contribute the country's economic development and learn the courses from the non-native speakers, and they can teach you the best because they know you the best. But here in India, we learn English using the help of any second language, means our mother tongue. Some people, they're using Hindi and some people, they're using Bengali. In different states of country, they are speaking in different languages, right? So what if I teach you Japanese using only the Japanese? Is it possible for me to teach you Japanese or Chinese using Chinese language? That is the main reason a native speaker doesn't know the environment where we grew up and the problems that you're just facing, right? That is the main reason they cannot teach us depending on the situations that we are facing right now here in this country. They would teach you based on the environment which they find in their country. For example, an American teacher will teach you just like he teaches the other Americans using his first language. My question is that if you understand English, then why you should go for the native speakers to learn this language? A native speaker can teach you only if you know this language. But a non-native speaker who has developed his fluency, his communication skill in English, now he is more aware of the situation that you are going through in your lifetime. Because, for example, like me, English is a second language. I use English as a second language. Now what happens? So if you people can understand English, if you can write English, if you can understand English and read English, that means you know English. Now what you need is your practice. And it doesn't matter who is providing that environment. That person has to be correct and the person has to be intelligent or skilled in that particular language. He is enough for you to develop your English communication skill. And the best thing is that we are learning this language depending on our first language. Do you remember the ABCs of English? Yeah, we learnt English using our mother tongue. Otherwise, we could never learn it. Because if you travel USA or the countries where the people are using English as their first language, either you have to travel that European country where the English is the first language, then only you can learn from the direct environment. But if you're living here in India and missing that environment, you need to create that environment. And who can create that environment? A person who already learned this language in your condition and with the same conditions and the difficulties as you are going through. Okay, so first, if you really want to, for example, if my students want to be just like me, I can tell them the ways, the problems that they are going to face and how they are going to tackle it to improve their English language. That is the main reason. Okay, so whatever I know, a native speaker doesn't know, especially about your condition and problems that you are going through. An American can never tell you the problems or the difficulties or the struggles going on to improve your English communication skill, but I can. Okay, because that person has not gone through the situation. So one recommendation, if you really want to improve the country's GDP, don't buy the courses from the native speakers. Then you are giving them money. That means you are draining the money from the country and our country's GDP will go down. Okay, so if you want to learn this language, grab a non-native speakers from our country and then buy the courses from that person only, so that we can contribute a little bit to the development of the country's GDP. Okay, so don't go for the online courses for the native speakers, especially like Udemy and other portals, where native speakers are selling their courses, though they don't know exactly the conditions we are going through, right? So they should know exactly how we feel here in India, how it feels to be a native Indian, where we don't speak English as a first language after we were born. So that's why native speakers cannot help you to be exactly what they are. And another point is that you can never be just like a native speaker if you're living here in India and learning from him, because he's not going to provide you 24/7. That means the environment you need. Okay, but a non-native speaker, if you like, for example, I follow Simarjit Singh. He's a very good guy, really. His voice intonation pattern and the way he speaks in English and shares his ideas, it's very good. It really touches my heart. I do not follow the Indian motivational speakers a lot, because I just love to read the books published by different international expertise and authors. But still there are some people who touch our heart by their presentation skill and quality. So Radhanath Swami, Simarjit Singh, and definitely Sandeep Maheshwari, he is the inspiration of all the youth of India. I truly appreciate him, and definitely Vivek Binda is also helping us a lot to develop our business, economical and commercial mind. And Radhanath Swami, Gaur Gopal Das is also contributing a lot for the welfare of the society. So these people are really doing good job, and a lot of people, the country people, they're getting a lot of inspiration. So you people, don't go for the courses from the native speakers, go for the same courses which you want to improve from a non-native speaker. He can teach you the best because he knows you the best and your situation. Thank you. Shine on.